So Armando, good to have you, man. Thank you for hopping on and talking to us. Appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate you
So
having me as well.
yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself, man. Who are you? What do you do? What's your business?
All right.
All the good stuff.
Yeah, so I've been in lending now for about 13 and a half years. Actually probably a little bit longer than that because I started during the crash when you didn't really need a license.
Oh, okay,
Uh, so after that, I went into the reverse space,
got
and
it.
after that I went into the forward, and now I'm here jumping out of retail and going into the broker world. So I've been a broker now for about, I want to say, a little bit over a year and a half, if I'm not mistaken.
Dang, man, you've been around the block.
Yeah, I have. I sure have.
That's so wild, man. So before you started working with us, what were you doing for lead generation? What did all that look like?
So typically I was purchasing leads, probably like where every other broker purchases leads, from the big name brand companies that you probably hear of, Lending Tree, Zillow, things like that.
Yeah,
Um, and I was noticing the spend on that was really high, and the conversion was really low. Not only that, I mean, it was getting that lead would get sold, 15, 16, 17 other times. So
that's
by the
right.
time,
Yeah,
and my understanding is certain lenders that buy from Lending Tree have I think it's like a 30-second call time before the lead actually gets sent out. So that was kind of a little bit of a turnoff for me as well. So I needed to find something that was a little bit more exclusive, and more branded towards me and not just, everyone else.
yeah, man. That's crazy too about the lead quality on those because especially with Zillow, I mean, those are some long form. Like they
Yeah.
they put them through the ringer on those. So that's crazy.
Yeah.
What
And they're not
so
cheap. They're not cheap. So that's
yeah,
that was a big thing. Yeah.
and I know yeah, I was talking to another lead hacker of mine. I think when he was doing Zillow, I want to say it was like 120 something like that. Like it was a lot, but that's crazy. I actually forgot about the that they sell the leads to multiple vendors. That's
Yeah.
because yeah, that happens so much.
And the big
Uh
name lenders, big brand, big retail lenders, they get
yeah.
first dibs on it. So, and there's no way I could compete with that type of spend, to get first dibs.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah,
Dang. Yeah, so not only did you have to share the leads, but you didn't even get first stab at them. That's crazy. That's
correct. Yeah.
crazy. Yeah, that's and similar in the contractor space too. Like they sell the leads multiple times too, and it makes it tough. It makes it hard. So you were looking for something exclusive that you can have more control of. Which is I mean you came to the right place. After you got started with us, what kind of results did you see, and how long did it take you to see those?
I mean, to be completely 100% transparent,
Yeah.
I took exactly what you guys told us during orientation. Don't expect anything good for a couple months because, your pixel has to age and it's got to make that ripple effect through social media. So I kind of just didn't even focus on it. I just let Lead Hackers do its thing for, I think it was 4 months in total. Even if I got leads, I really didn't even work it because I knew they weren't, that I
Which
wasn't.
we don't recommend. We recommend you work all
Yeah.
your leads. So Armando, shame, shame, shame.
Was a little different. I figured I'd jump in once they were, once my pixel was hotter. But it still worked out pretty well because around like June or July, that's when I really started seeing a turnaround in the leads, and the quality had gotten significantly better. And they weren't getting sold to everyone. So that was a
That's
big thing.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's huge, man. And how many loans have you closed since working with lead hackers off of those leads?
I can tell you if you give me 1 second.
Yeah. See, I'll give you a sec to tell us how many loans you closed.
Yeah, yeah, I just got to look at my numbers for lead hackers.
That's so funny. You weren't even working the leads in the beginning. That's so not what we teach you guys. So that's awesome that you were closing loans. So that's so funny. Don't tell Alex that.
Well, I know for this month itself, I have closed. Oh, hold on. My apologies. I should have
Oh, you're
had
good.
this up already. Just got to log into my.
Your back end. All good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's it makes a difference when they're exclusive too. Like when you're not having to compete with, a million people on the same, well, not a million, that's an exaggeration, but you know what I mean? Like
No, it sounds about
it's
right. That's
it feels that way anyway,
yeah.
So
And
when
that's
you're
what it felt like.
Yeah,
you
and when
know.
you don't have to compete on that, it makes it uh a lot simpler when you're having those conversations for sure.
So in total so far, and as you know, I've got another business as well that I run. So I've
Yeah.
done about 26 so far.
That's awesome. And then you said there was a couple in the last 30 days or so?
Yeah, so I started the DSCR long lead form.
Hmm.
I want to say back in like September. And it took a little bit for it to pick up, but when it picked up, it picked up. I got a client or a lead, I should say he's my client now.
Yeah.
And out of that client, I have now funded 5 loans
Oh my gosh, off the one lead.
off the one lead. Not only that, this client is part of an investor group in Washington. And what they do is they do fix and flips and they purchase multi-units. And so it's a group of guys that are trying to now build a huge portfolio. So I've been, I guess, led into that circle. And we're going to start doing some really crazy business in the next couple months because it's a group of 8 of them in total that each have their own investor portfolio that they're doing.
Portfolio.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I I f- I uh I'm so glad that's been happening to you because I've noticed that with lead hackers that are really grabbing this by the horns and running with it. There's another lady in our program who had never done DSCR, no investor loans in her whole life, and she's been doing this like 13 years. She was really struggling with the she tried home buyer stuff, she tried refi, she tried HELOC, she tried all that stuff. And it's not that those things don't work because we have people crushing with those too. But for her, it wasn't quite that thing. And then she switched to DSCR and, did her first, set of investor loans. And now it's all her entire business. Like she gets multiple deals from the same people, just like you're saying, because they're
Yeah.
investors. That should be the name of the game. And like she's got a guy who we don't know if it's going to close yet, but she's got potentially a 70 property deal in the pipe
Oh,
right now,
wow.
which is freaking
Fantastic. Yeah.
insane. But one thing you said that made me think of her is because obviously you did a good job for this guy. Because one thing that she was telling me is uh she became that person's go-to and go like really goes above and beyond to help her customers. And because of that, now they're doing multiple deals through her.
Yeah.
And she had one lead that did 3 properties through her before the first one had even closed.
Wow. That's
J
phenomenal. Yeah.
just kept passing her deals. So the fact that's happening to you, so cool, man. Um, Gosh, that's huge. So off of your ad spend the last couple months, your ROI is probably going to be pretty crazy.
Nice. Yeah, it is pretty nice already. So I mean, I'm not complaining about it. Um, it's saved me quite a bit of money as well from purchasing leads from big, lead companies.
Oh, that's right. You were
I mean,
telling me that the other day.
yeah, so I mean, I think I've been saving about $2,000 to $3,000 a month in my lead spend on average. So that's actually helped me quite a bit as well because, it's once you get in with one person, you can start getting referrals to those people.
Yeah,
And I think a lot of people that are afraid of DSCR don't realize how much of an easy and good customer experience it is because the product is I don't want to say it, one size fits all, but it's a very
yeah.
simple product. And the experience that the customer goes through when it comes through processing underwriting is very fast and it's usually very simple.
That's so cool. And I know qualification process and turnaround's usually pretty quick too,
Yes,
what I
yes, it
understand.
is.
Man, there was something else I was going to ask you about, and I'm losing my train of thought on it. If I think of it, I'll ask. Oh, I was gonna comment on what you said about saving that money. One one thing we try to tell lead hackers when they're signing up with us is our goal isn't to just save you money on cutting out what we call the middleman because you can still hear me, right? I just got a phone call.
Yeah, I can hear
Yeah,
you.
okay,
Yeah, I
cool.
can hear you.
Um, it's not to cut out the middleman just to save money because that it's a huge benefit of hey if you're because when you're paying a marketing agency most of your money is going towards overhead not
Sure.
the actual ads themselves. But when you're saving that money, instead of being like, hey, I'm only going to spend like it's not to we don't put you guys in a position to do that to just cheap out. It's like, hey, instead of putting a $3,000 a month marketing retainer towards, a company and their overhead, put all of that towards your ad spend and double, triple, even in some cases quadruple the amount of leads you get. So you can still
Absolutely.
spend the same amount of money you would with a traditional agency, but get way
Yep.
more leads, like way more bang for the buck.
Right. Right. And not everyone's calling them. that's usually a pretty big positive.
A huge positive. And most salespeople suck at follow up too. So if you just call your leads,
Yeah.
like shocker, but you actually start getting some deals in the pipe. Um, okay,
Well, I think maybe for me, I'm like a little bit of a outside of the box type of thinker, and mainly
yeah,
because like I've been doing this for so long that I've done the call center. I was, doing the 4 or 5 hours of talk time and 200 dials a day. And when
yeah.
when I became a broker, I kind of wanted to step out of that world so I can have some kind of a life, outside of this. So lead hackers really helped me make that into a reality because now I'm not having to sit behind the phone for 3, 10, 15 hours a day, dialing all day long because I'm actually getting some quality leads that are picking up the phone when I do call them or responding to text messages. And that's something that I can't say other lead sources have the ability to do.
That's huge, man. The people get caught up on lead volume and cost per lead and all that stuff. And it's like, dude, if you're getting cheap leads, they're probably cheap leads.
Yeah.
It's better to get less leads that are um, less leads that actually answer the phone.
Yeah.
That type of
Absolutely.
stuff. So that's
Have
huge.
that actual conversation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that from your perspective of coming from that background of all the dials. Because, dude, I was a recruiter. We were on the phone all day long, and it
Yep.
was not my favorite thing. And in sales, part of the job is follow up. So when you're able to go after lead quality, the less leads, people actually having real conversations. I didn't even think about the fact that of how much time it saves you and cuts down just on that side of it alone. So you're
Yeah.
saving your time and you're saving your money on that whole lead gen side. It's so crazy, man. Um, what would you say to anyone who's on the fence about, getting started and trying to get some results like you?
I personally would say you've already invested this much money in buying really expensive leads. What's another 300, $400 in the month? I mean, all you really need is one deal out of it, and it pays for itself at the end of the day. And granted, like I might be somewhat of an anomaly, or maybe not an anomaly. Maybe people are getting the same amount of deals that I'm getting. But what I can say is that the effects that it's done to my business have been pretty substantial. And this is not a paid advertisement, like
We're not paying Armando to say this stuff, guys.
this is real, and I've actually gotten some quality leads from it that I have continued business going through. I mean, like I was mentioned, that DSCR, I have a 8 unit right now in processing with him, and that's about $2.3 million.
Oh
So
my gosh. Dude,
that's
you're
going to
building.
be
Go ahead, sorry.
that's going to be pretty nice at the end of the day. So
Absolutely. You're building your pipeline, man. Like that's one of the biggest things that I think people miss out on too when they're generating leads is they forget that it's not just about the lead that'll close today. It's about building those relationships and building your pipeline that'll feed you for a lifetime. Uh,
yeah,
your pipeline is your lifeline. I like to say, like the fatter it is, the more quality it is, and the more you work that pipeline, it'll just feed you, forever. Because I've been in sales over 15 years, and I got my start in insurance, and having a good pipeline makes all the difference. So to hear that that's what's happening for you, and I can say that you're not an anomaly with the when you're doing the right things and you're a great loan officer, you're great at sales, you know how to do your part of the equation, the loans and all that stuff. When you're good at that side of it, when you plug lead hackers into it, I feel like it's putting fuel on the fire because I have noticed that consistently across the board is the lead hackers that actually know their crap, they show up and do the work and they ask for help when they need it.
yeah.
Those are the ones that really just knock it out of the park. So I'm so glad that that's been your experience, and it's cool for Alex and I to hear this stuff too because this is our baby. Like lead hackers is we've tried to create something because we saw all the problems that were happening in the mortgage lead gen space, and we've tried so hard to create something that counteracts all that or combats all that traditional stuff and kind of flip the model on its head and put more power and control into your guys' hands to just kind of get the results that you're seeing here. So I appreciate you taking the time, man. This conversation has been awesome. Man, I have so many other questions I want to ask you about like process and everything, but we'll save that for another day.
Okay.
But
All right.
Armando, I appreciate you hopping on. Thank you for sharing your
Thanks. Thanks
thoughts,
for having
and
me. Yeah,
hopefully
appreciate
help
you.
somebody make a decision to hop on board and experience what you're
Yeah, I mean,
experiencing.
I think you also maybe missed a little part that maybe not, that we didn't talk about, and it's the tools that the Lead Hackers platform actually
Mm.
offers us, and that's something that is very rare to find in other CRMs. I mean, I have a calendar that sets up my social media for me that does drops, and it makes me still active with my current customers and things like that. Those are things that I think a lot of brokers, loan officers that are looking into it need to understand that there's a lot of automation that is done here that you're not going to find somewhere else.
Ooh, I am so glad you hit on that. That is one of that's one of the compliments we do get is the way we set things up in the automation and the tool set. And people get really hung up on, rightfully so, the ad launcher. Launch ads in a couple clicks, get things going. And it's such a powerful tool, but it's only one tool in the toolbox.
Yeah,
There are
yeah.
all these other things to help you guys build your brand, automate your business. I'm so glad you mentioned that because that is one of the things that we get complimented on. That and our customer support, just because we have so many dang.
Oh yeah,
We
awesome, awesome.
we probably offer too much support.
I think I just get into calls just to listen sometimes, but
Oh, there's a bunch of people that do that, man. Like I see recurring people that just pop in and oftentimes they're just there to be a fly on the wall and hear like, hey, what are
yeah,
other lead hackers doing and what are they? Because that's another thing we get complimented on is the community side of it too, is that you have the tools, you have the community, you have the support. It's kind of man, it's like I said, Alex and I tried really hard. Like we work
yeah,
and
yeah,
we work really hard every day. We're always talking about not just us two. We talk about it with our team and everything. Like what is everybody seeing? Where can we get better? Uh, where are the bottlenecks? Where like what patterns are you guys seeing with our customers? Like how can we make this thing the best thing possible for you guys? So yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, man. Um, but yeah, appreciate you, Armando. Thank you
thank you.
for sharing that and take it easy, man.
Yeah, likewise. Have a great rest of your day.